Hogwarts was never just a school of spells. It was a pressure chamber for human emotion. Take hundreds of young people, isolate them from families, place them inside an ancient castle, saturated with memory and magic, bind them to rigid rules, constant danger, and an unspoken expectation of greatness, and something inevitable emerges. Attachment, longing, loyalty, heartbreak. But romance at Hogwarts was never loud, public, or indulgent. It was restrained, coded, and shaped by forces far older than the students themselves. Hogwarts did not encourage romance. It contained it. The castle's architecture alone tells the story. Endless staircases that separate rather than connect. Dormitories sealed by enchantments. Common rooms monitored by portraits, prefix, and traditions older than the school itself. Even the walls seemed designed to observe without intervening. Privacy existed, but only in fragments, and that shaped how relationships formed. Romance at Hogwarts was not about opportunity, it was about timing. Moments stolen between classes, shared glances during feasts, walks to the greenhouses under the excuse of homework, studying together late in the common room while pretending not to notice the rest of the world had gone quiet. Affection expressed through restraint. Because in a place where danger was constant, emotional safety became rare and precious. The truth is this: most Hogwarts relationships did not begin with bold declarations. They began with shared survival. Students bonded through crisis, through exams that felt life-defining, through nights when the castle shook with danger and tomorrow was uncertain. When fear strips away performance, what remains is connection. That is why friendships blurred so easily into something more. Not because of desire, but because trust came first. Hogwarts romance was shaped heavily by house culture. Gryffindor relationships burned fast. Intense, emotional, dramatic, often short-lived but unforgettable. Ravenclaw bonds grew quietly, built on shared curiosity and long conversations that felt endless and unfinished. Hufflepuff relationships were steady and private, rooted in loyalty rather than display. Slytherin connections were the most guarded, carefully chosen, often strategic, sometimes sincere, sometimes not, but always controlled. These were not stereotypes. They were survival strategies. Rules played a silent but powerful role. Curfews, detentions, prefect authority, house expectations. The rules didn't eliminate romance. They filtered it. Only relationships with patience endured. Only those willing to navigate boundaries without crossing lines survived longer than a term. And many did not. Heartbreak at Hogwarts was quiet. There were no dramatic public scenes, only distance at breakfast tables, silence in corridors, partners choosing opposite staircases without explanation. What is rarely acknowledged is how deeply emotionally intense these bonds were. For many students, Hogwarts was the first place they felt seen for who they truly were. Not by family expectations, but by peers who shared the same strange, dangerous world. That makes attachment stronger and loss heavier. The staff knew this. They pretended not to. Teachers enforced rules while quietly allowing space. They watched without prying. Intervened only when distraction became danger. Hogwarts understood something modern institutions often forget. You cannot teach young people without acknowledging their inner lives. So the castle tolerated romance, not as an indulgence, but as part of becoming human. And this is the final truth most histories ignore. Romance at Hogwarts was not about physical expression. It was about identity formation, learning who you trusted, who you followed, who you protected, who you let close in a world that constantly threatened to take everything away. Those lessons lasted far longer than any relationship itself. Years later, when former students spoke of Hogwarts, they rarely mentioned who they dated. They spoke of moments: a hand squeezed before an exam, a look exchanged during a crisis, someone choosing to stand beside them when fear would have made it easier to walk away. That was romance at Hogwarts. Quiet, intense, human, and shaped forever by a castle that watched, remembered, and never forgot a single heartbeat within its walls.